So it's possible to have orgasms if you're
Yes, we
circumcised?
have different types of orgasm. When you've really had a serious, nice, juicy clitoral orgasm, you naturally will just pour.
Our parents come from a generation of baby boomers, so they were wiping. And then yet that's the generation that did not talk about sex.
People are not satisfied sexually. The women especially are complaining bitterly.
Wow.
Their husbands are not satisfying them, and the men are still cheating. So
The husband has not satisfied them. And the same husband that is not is still cheating.
When you're tensed and you genuinely have an orgasm, it naturally brings you joy.
Because I had this girl one time that said that she had this partner and then he would just come and he felt like he was masturbating inside of her. And and she didn't.
No, but that's the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, exactly. And then she would just let him go because she didn't want to like bruise his ego.
For ages, people have been talking about how uncomfortable many people are about talking about sex. And yet, people are still so uncomfortable talking about sex. Why do you think so?
So I feel everything is about conditioning. We've been conditioned to think that sex is a bad thing, but why? We talk about politics, we talk about religion, we talk about friendships, we talk about food. And the main thing that brought us to the world, we don't want to talk about it. We are all products of sex, whether we accept or not. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's conditioning. It has been passed down from generation to generation. We don't know where it started, but it is in our power to stop it.
So she says conditioning. Where do you think that comes from?
It's funny. Our parents come from a generation of baby boomers, so they were wiping. And then yet that's the generation that did not talk about sex or are afraid to, and they try to pass it down to us. We didn't really accept it because some of us are rebels. But even before that, their own generation before that was the silent generation. So they never talked. They passed it down to their children, but then their children are having 8 kids, 10 kids, and all that. So it's like almost like they were just playing games on themselves because they should have been the ones talking about sex and that baby booming. As your wife, you should have been talking about it.
What do you think?
For me, I feel like it's like she said, conditioning, and then there's this like whole purity culture thing, you know,
Purity culture.
where like you're just supposed to like not talk about it. It feels really hypocritical because Nigerians are having lots of sex. So why are we not talking about it? Like, do you understand? We just like throw it under the carpet and act like it's not happening.
Even in the heat.
I had a
People
neighbor.
who are so obsessed with sex, like we barely talk about it, and it's really kind of dangerous.
Why do you think it's dangerous?
It's dangerous when you don't talk about sex because you're like so much misinformation, you know, and then like some STDs could have been like curbed if people would be open about these things. Do you understand? Like there's so many, there's so many mistakes people are making that shouldn't be like that because it feels like a taboo if you want to discuss these things. And
Being a sex therapist,
Okay.
what are the common issues that you have to deal with?
First of all, I'll talk in the married community. Let me start with them first, because if we want to go the religious way, let's do married.
Okay.
The married community, people are not having enough sex.
Right.
People are not satisfied sexually. The women especially are complaining bitterly.
Wow.
Their husbands are not satisfying them, and the men are still cheating. So
The husband has not satisfied them.
and
the
the
same
men
husband
are
is
still
still
cheating.
Send me
So-
your numbers.
So why are you cheating when you cannot even do the work well? That's how they're seeing it. That's one. And then there's a lot of resentment. The underlying problem is resentment. Resentment from infidelity, resentment from high expectations that are not met, resentment from lack of orgasms. So, you know, these things build up and it's a lot. That's one.
Definitely.
Then you now deal with the ladies who are circumcised. A lot of ladies who have been circumcised, who are made to believe that because they've been circumcised, they can't have orgasms. That's also another problem.
So it's possible to have orgasms
Oh
if you're
yes, we have
circumcised?
different types of orgasms. We have the clitoral orgasm, we have the anal orgasm, we have the vaginal orgasm.
The anal orgasms?
Oh yes.
I'm sure there's even financial orgasm.
Oh yes, there's, I mean, we leave room for so many things. So I agree with you. In the future, we'll call it a
Definitely.
thing. There will be
Yeah.
financial
Once you
orgasm
receive
because
alert, we'll make
there are
you-
women who different things can give you orgasm.
yeah, some people like to be played, like they like when someone plays with their ears.
Oh,
like,
yeah. all
Orgasms.
Well, I get what you mean. So if there are fetishes, then if there are different types of fetishes, then
There should be different types of orgasms.
Yeah.
So
And they're all relevant.
for circumcised women, their clitoris has been taken off, right? So it means that they've just been deprived of clitoral orgasm. So they can explore other forms of orgasms from other erogenous zones. But the society has made them think because they've taken off your clitoris, you cannot ever. And that conditioning has lived with many of them for years that they've never experienced orgasm. So I had a whole lot of I had a community of them that's all through last year, because last year I did free therapy all through last year. Wow. So I dealt with a lot of them, and by the end of the year, I was so happy with the reviews. So many of them had now had orgasms, and it was such a thing of joy for me. Yeah. So you see, that's also another part. So there's so many issues we deal with, you know, but most of the time, it's always the fact that people are having lack of orgasms.
Do you think that there's a lot of frustration we are seeing in civilized society simply because of the lack of orgasms?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, yes. Of course. I have a video that I talked about that. See, orgasms, the hormones and different things that come from having orgasms, you cannot underemphasize it. When you're tensed and you genuinely have an orgasm, it naturally brings you joy. So you naturally are relaxed. Right. So when you're relaxed, you cannot be shouting. When you have joy, you cannot be angry at AO for stepping on you.
No, I'm always usually the one that brings you the joy.
Oh, wow. nice one. So, I agree with you.
Yeah. We think of orgasms and ejaculation as the same thing. And I've heard that these are two different things.
They can be.
The person can orgasm without ejaculating, and the person can ejaculate without orgasming. But usually when a man tells his friends that, oh, I'm dating a woman, and she says that she orgasms but doesn't ejaculate, or she enjoys, because people confuse the two, or she enjoys sex, but she doesn't necessarily have orgasms. They say she's lying to you. It is because you don't know how to satisfy her. Which one is it? And this is both men and women.
So I will start with the fact that people, first of all, need to understand their bodies. Right. If you understand your body as a woman, you will tell the difference. So in finding out things about your body, religion again will say, do not touch yourself. But as a therapist, I will tell you to touch yourself, because that's the first way you can understand your body. When we're first brought into the world, we really don't know what sex is about. And then you meet somebody and he doesn't know what sex is about. And we come together, we'll just be doing what we like. Until I've taken time to touch myself here. Oh, okay, here tickles me a bit. Touch here, maybe I can now tell him, oh, touch me here. This works. So when you understand your body, you can tell the difference. And with orgasms, see, you know when you've had an orgasm. Your body will be in a different plane.
State.
I call it cloud 69. When you're at cloud 69, nobody will tell you you've gotten there.
I like that.
Then there's something that happens with clitoral orgasms that is very different. When you've really had a serious, nice, juicy clitoral orgasm, you naturally will just pour. Like you can literally see it on your hands. Yes, that's the word. You can see it. So, but because everybody's body is different, that's why I see some ladies can squirt, some can't squirt.
Shout out to the squirters.
You're one of the guys that put pressure on my ladies, because you see a lot of women complaining, oh, these guys like ladies that can squirt. But there's still guys who actually shame them too, anyway.
Yeah, true. There are a lot of those.
The guys that think that women that squirt are bad.
Yeah, always pee.
They pee. They think they pee.
Yeah,
so
they pee,
you see guys are like, why are you peeing on the bed? It's embarrassing, you know. But you see, because the bodies are different.
Yes.
That's fascinating.
Yes.
Bodies are different. I usually say to people that the woman's body, I'm talking about women now because I'm a woman. Every woman's body is like, let me use different electronics. So the remote control for the fan is different from the remote control for the television.
Yes.
So if you try to turn on the television the way you turn on the fan, it may not work.
Right.
Until you read the manual of that one. So the manual is simple. Ask question.
Yeah.
How does your body work?
What about the remote control for your sex toy?
We're coming to talk about sex toys soon. But on the other level, so you talk about, so a person will know when they've had an orgasm because of the intense. Right. It's weird I want to use the word that NGOs use, self-reported. If you have a partner, and you say, oh, the partner didn't squirt, the partner didn't, but the partner says, look,
I'm okay.
I had an orgasm. Do you just leave it?
So,
or do you push?
Now, first of all, I will tell people not to push, because I believe as a human being, you should be sincere. If you didn't have an orgasm, you should tell your partner, I've not had an orgasm. In a kind way. There's something I say, give yourself reviews after sex. The same way you review yourself after a good job or a bad job, you should be able to do that with sex.
So self-review?
Self-review. Right. So I like how you kissed me, I like how you touched my breast, but I think maybe you can actually just put your hand deeper a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the person now knows, okay, I didn't get to the spot, but if I go deeper, I will get to the spot.
Right. You're going to say something.
I was going to say, one thing I actually feel like has actually affected people a lot when it comes to sex is consumption of pornography, actually. It has given people this really warped idea of what they feel sex should be. And I feel like a lot of couples aren't having enough conversations about like what they like during sex, do you understand? Like, and when these people, or these men or these women, they've watched all of this pornography and they've absorbed so much of it, they just want to have that unrealistic thing they see in pornography, and it doesn't really work that way, do you get? You know, you have to understand your body. You and your partner have to have conversations, do you understand? You like being choked sometimes, you like being beaten sometimes, you like being scratched sometimes. Like, these are the things that you can talk about. Like, you guys can talk about, introduction of sex toys into your bedroom, you understand? Like, there are other like really little things that you can add or you can spice up, do you understand? And I feel like people don't have these conversations, you know? And if you also look at it, it also kind of like trails down back to what we talk about purity culture. A lot of girls that have certain things that they love, but they don't want to tell it to the guy that they are seeing because they don't want him to look at them in a certain light, do you understand? So they kind of like just suppress it and just let him do his thing, do you understand? And that's what really destroys, like, so I feel like people need to have like more conversations about like truthful conversations, honest conversations.
Because people have conversations without truth.
Because I had this girl one time that said that she had this partner and then he would just come and he felt like he was masturbating inside of her. And you know, and
that's
she didn't.
No, but that's the perfect way to describe it.
Exactly. And then she just let him go because she didn't want to like bruise his ego.
Really, yes.
Like I said, people are shy or I don't know how to explain it. What I always advise people is that whatever you like during sex, you can find like someone that's likes the same thing. Instead of being so like there was a boy one time that he was laughing with his group of friends about how there's this girl that was begging him that she ought to eat his ass, and he found that really comical, you know. And I really felt bad for the girl because I mean this is what she likes. But now she's with this person who doesn't like that, and see the way he's shaming her for it. Do you understand? And I'm sure next time she won't want to speak out about this what you understand. You know, people just have like different things that they like, but they are scared of saying it.
I was saying to a friend the other day, I'm like, I feel so sorry for people who have fetishes.
Or because kinks, because they're like
they're so shame.
Yeah, like king shame,
I like to say something to you that people don't know. There are a lot of things that we did not know were fetishes or kinks. For instance, choke me, daddy, spank me. It's level 1 BDSM.
It's level 1 BDSM.
Yes. So BDSM where they're wiping you with serious cane and they're spanking you.
So like
it's on the same spectrum.
So I met this lady one time and she said like, she had never really like orgasm from like sex with men before. Only for her to find out that the stuff that made her like orgasm were like she liked watching people have sex. So she was a watcher, you know. So like so she sees people who have. She doesn't have to participate with you guys. So she sees you guys like having sex. She just touches herself and then she comes. But like, how does she like tell her partner?
Exactly.
This is what
That's
she
a
like.
real problem.
Look at you like this problem. Like how do you tell like? But at the end of the day, we just said that there's a lead for like every pot. You always like find that one person that's always going to like indulge in that, Jonathan. So if you're a man who likes, let's say you're a man who likes, what's the word? When someone likes their ass being eaten, what's the word? A rim job. If you're a man who likes being rimmed, you can always find like ladies who are into that.